Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Great to see you all. Lots of lovely people here. We've had a whole raft of new subscribers join us in the last few days. So if you're brand new to the channel, a very, very warm welcome. My name's Ben. Welcome to Homechoir. And thanks so much for being part of what we do. And we've got to say, lots of people here in the chat today. I just want to check the sound is working. That's a good start. Last week's recording session, session on recording started with no sound at all. So that's a little bit better. Let me check everything else is working and then I shall say hello to everyone. But it's so splendid to see so many people and a couple of people we haven't seen for a little while, and I do hope you are all okay. Hello to Kit Kat. Hope you're feeling better. It's great to see you. Hello to Lindsay. And I'm going to say hello to everyone else. If you want me to say hello to you, pop a little comment just in the chat, just in the next few seconds, and then you'll be in my participants list when I read it out in a minute. But first of all, let's just check the instruments are working. So the piano is online. Lovely. Let me check the presentation. Okay, that looks all right. I also need to check. Give me a moment, everyone. Can I just check that we can see and hear that? And if I go like that, oh yes, that's good. And if I now just press record and just do a bit of dooby-doo. Doop dooby-doo, doop doop dooby-doo, doop doop dooby-doo, doop doop doop. Something like that. Can we hear it back? Bit quiet. Okay, that's working on my headphones. Can we hear it back through the recording? And then I can relax. Yes, I'm sorry about the pneumatic drill. Good. Okay, so we can hear that all. And yes, Lucius has just pointed out that, yes, unfortunately, the man with the drill, actually, I'm pretty sure it's an angle grinder. He's just over there on the building site, and he's bless him, he works very, very hard. He's a very diligent chap. You know, he's up early in the morning. He's here usually about 7:30, and doesn't stop till about 6 o'clock at night. So we have to applaud his work ethic. I just wish he wouldn't do it during my broadcasts, but you know, this is just like some of you have got background noise to deal with. So so a very, very good afternoon, everyone, and I'm now going to say hello to you all. And I do hope you're all having a great day. Let's have a little look here. So a very good afternoon, Albert. Hope all's well in Berlin. Hello to Anna and to Jota. I hope all's very well in Portugal. Hello, Breda. Lovely to see you. Hello to Carolyn. Hello to Dave and Jill and Diane and Dorothy and Liz. Hello to Faye and Gaynor. Hello to Anna. Hello to Jane and Jill and Jill. Hello to Judith and Patrick. Hi, Julie. Hello, Karen and Kathy. Hi, Kit Kat. Hello to Lisa. Hello, Lucia. Lovely to see you. Thanks for coming along. Hope all's well in Seattle. Hello again to Lindsay and to Marion. Hello, Morgan, Fiona. And all my list is now jumping. Hello, Michael and Moira. Hello, Nikki. Don't forget that meeting, Nikki. The meeting about a meeting to discuss further meetings. I've been to many meetings like that. Hello, dear Norb and Shan. Hello, Sue. Hello to Susanna and Suzanne and everyone else. I'm just seeing if there's anyone else who's popped up while I was talking. Well, if you're here and I haven't said hello to you, well, a very, very good afternoon, everyone. I do hope, as I say, you're having a good day. Here in the West Country of the UK, it is just grey. I've got the curtains flung wide here. Normally, on a sunny day, I wouldn't be able to do that. I'd turn into Gollum from Lord of the Rings and, you know, hide from the light, the precious and all the rest of it. No, it is just overcast and chilly, and perfect day to be indoors talking about recording. And yes, the Patchway wildlife is on display. You can hear it, the siren call. And he's just stopped. Perfect. I need to give him a fiver for that. Now we have sirens, we have the police helicopter, and now we have the man with the angle grinder. I'm not sure if dear Jill in Thailand can. Well, I'm sure you can empathise with all those cicadas. I think I'd rather have your problem than mine, but great to see everyone. Now, do bear in mind, today is not the recording session, okay? If you're coming along today thinking, oh, we've got to be ready to sing the Cantique de Racine, that is next week. I'm going to go through one more time our fantastic project, which is starting, well, I mean, it's effectively launched today, but I'll tell you all about it at 2 o'clock. We've renamed it. I think I called it Third Time's the Charm last week, which is a little bit vague. So we've rebranded it, if you like, ladies and gentlemen. We now call it Sing and Send. Okay, you've heard of fire and forget. This is sing and send, and so yeah, we'll go through the process for that. And then the point of today is for those of you that like the idea of multi-tracking, that's singing multiple tracks and creating your own virtual choirs. And I'm going to share a number of the techniques and tricks and tips that I use at this end when you very kindly send me recordings to produce these choirs, as well as how I create the sound of our very own Patchway Cathedral, of course. So lots to learn for those of you who are interested. And just to say, I will say this at 2 o'clock as well. Obviously, I'm working on an Apple Mac, and the software that I use is GarageBand or GarageBand, for those of you who prefer that pronunciation. Now, this is Mac only. Now, if you're on PC, there are other pieces of software that you could use. Perhaps the best one that I'd recommend after the last couple of weeks of people contacting me is called Pro Tools, and there is a free version of this. Okay, Pro Tools First it's called. I've downloaded it today. I'm having a look through it, and my plan is over the next couple of weeks is I'll learn how to use it. It doesn't look particularly different from the software that I'm used to, and then I will do a session on Pro Tools First for everyone, whether you're on PC, whether you're on Mac. It will apply to both of you, so that is the plan. And yes, so how else is everyone? Lisa says she feels the pain. The wildlife sounds like mine. They are a bit of a pain, aren't they, Lisa? But you know, we just have to deal with it and smile and move on. Kit Kat says, is Ben fuzzy? Let's have a look. Seems all right. I think what I need to do is turn on my light. Let's turn on my ring light and light myself a little bit better, and hopefully the camera won't struggle too much. If it does become a problem, what I can do... Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. So the camera doesn't like the light from the window and the light from the screen. So I shall just bring the curtain across a little bit. And so hopefully that should reduce the fuzziness. Let's see, shall we? Okay. Faluting away, my dear. Good, good. Susanna says, when my friend went to a hairdresser, she asked, so you cut your own hair with kitchen scissors? Oh dear, no, I know I need a haircut, but my son Bobby also desperately needs a haircut. And I can't really take him at the moment because I'd normally take him after school, but there's not enough time in between picking him up from school and then taking him to the barbers and then getting back for Messiah. So next week. Carla is asking, how is the spelling? It's Pro Tools, Protools, Pro Tools. And if you Google it, you'll find everything you need. It's published by a company called Avid, who also make a really nice piece of software called Sibelius, which is the industry standard for creating scores and so on. So do have a little look. But we need to get started, folks. It's so splendid to see everyone. And do please ask questions. I've got your chat just here. Pro Tools says Kit Kat. That's it. Exactly right. So as I say, do please keep chatting. Ask questions as we go. And help me out, folks. We're going to start the presentation. And just one more time, thank you for coming along today. We're not going to be doing singing today. This is all a very technical session. And I do hope those of you who are sitting there thinking, well, this is just way beyond me, do bear in mind that it helps, I think, sometimes to see somebody using a piece of software just so you know what it's capable of. And if you're interested in any of the things I show you today, well, use Google, use YouTube, watch tutorials. These are amazing educational resources. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get started. Here we go. Marvellous. And welcome everyone to our Homechoir Guide to Recording, Part 2. And this week is all about creating your own virtual choir, multi-tracking, that is to say recording multiple tracks. So you might sing the soprano, the alto, the tenor, the bass. Only a madman would do all of them, but you can have a go and create your own virtual choirs. And so you're going to see quite a lot of what I do behind the scenes to create the lead tracks that you sing along with every week, and also some of the bits and pieces I use to sledgehammer the lovely submissions that you send to me in order so that they can sound very much together and as a face-to-face choir would. Now, before we start, I do need to remind you, as I did last week, and it's so important to just talk about health and safety whenever you are conducting a recording of any kind. Please be careful, very, very careful, to guard your hearing. I would recommend when you're listening back to things on headphones, if you've been recording, use over-ear headphones because you can get them off in a fraction of a second if there's a bit of feedback or something and you just and you're protecting your hearing. These in-ear buds that go right into the ear canal, far harder to take out and can cause much more hearing damage. So just be really careful. Be careful with volume settings and just watch out. What I would suggest is when you're listening back as well, if you put your headphones around your neck and press play, you'll be able to hear and check that the levels are at the right level. Watch out for training cables and take care with electrical equipment. I want to say that right at the start before we do anything else. And just want to say that what we're going to do today, please don't use these techniques I'm going to show you to alter or enhance your submissions to online choirs. So those of you in self-isolation choir, I'm going to show you some tricks here that are great fun, but please don't apply these then to what you send in to us for things like summer school, for Messiah and so on, because what the engineers need from you is your voice, unaltered, unedited. They will do the editing. Okay, what I'm going to show you today is very much offered in the spirit of fun and enjoyment and creating your own virtual choir spaces. All right, and I see a few people have just arrived. Hello to Jenny. I'm sorry to hear you're feeling a bit under the weather. Well, just relax and enjoy this session. It's great to see you. And hello to everyone who's joined us since we started. That's fantastic. So look, before we start talking about this, I want to remind you about our I want to remind you about our fantastic online project, which is actually launched today. And this is called Sing and Send. Now, I mentioned this last week, and I want to just show you, bear with me a moment, everyone, just while I get this up here and I can demonstrate what I'm talking about. If you saw on the channel earlier on at 12 o'clock today, we had a special video which was a rerun of the Cantique de Racine, the lovely piece by Fauré, which we learned over a year ago. And this is going to be our first Sing and Send piece. And what I want to show you, everyone, because of course you're all very familiar with the Homechoir website, homechoir.uk. Give me a moment just while I get this up here. Here we go. All right, so we can see my web browser here. And I'm just going to make it slightly bigger so it covers up GarageBand, and we can see the session that's going on at the moment. There's your chat. And of course, if you've not been to homechoir.uk, do consider having a look at it. It's got all of our videos on it. You can access playlists. You can, if you go to choose a genre at the top, you can see all of our recent performances, and you can scroll through, and you can we're adding a search function as we speak. Anna's doing a wonderful job organizing a database, and thank you to those of you that are helping. But the thing I want to show you is this new tab, which is called Recordings. And if you click on this, you can now see all the information, everyone, which has about Sing and Send. And so the idea is that once a week, so on a Wednesday, starting next week, we will conduct a special recording session. Now, a week before that, so today, we'll release the teaching video and all the materials that you need to learn this lovely piece. So if we just scroll down, you'll see here's the teaching video that we put out earlier on today. Below that, you've got the various one voice louder parts. You've got soprano, alto, tenor, bass. Before that, thank you to Julie for helping us with this. Here's a pronunciation guide. She's even recorded a special pronunciation guide down here at the bottom. And so you go to this page, and you access the videos and learn the piece, and then you come along the following week, so in a week's time, and at the start of the session you have your recording device and something to listen to me on with headphones, and you press record. When I ask you to press record, we sing the piece a number of times. At the end you press stop and you send it to me. Now on this page I've given you some instructions as how to do that, even a guide on how to transfer using what we call WeTransfer. Have a look at it. If you've got any questions, please get in touch with us. But the idea is that this will hopefully reduce any stress, any worry about recording. And that the idea is that you just sing it and send it. Don't listen back. Don't agonize about it. I sang a wrong note there, or there was a drill, or there was a cicada, or something like that. Don't worry about any of that. Just send it to us, okay? Now that is a new page that's launched today. If you missed the video for Cantique earlier on, there it is. You can get everything you need from this page, and we'll update it every week because we have this wonderful program that we'll be singing through. So after the Cantique de Racine, we're going to sing I Waited for the Lord by Mendelssohn, and so the teaching video for that will be up next week. Before anybody asks, we've got the submission dates for each of the projects here. So we're going to open submissions for the Cantique next week, and you'll have 10 days then to record that for us, and you send it, as I say here in the instructions, to recordings@homechoir.uk. So everything's on that page. Go and have a look at it for me. All right, so there we go. That is a quick plug for our fantastic project that we're starting, well, today, effectively. But that's not what we're here to talk about. What we're here to talk about today is those of you that love the idea of recording your own virtual choir. So just to say once again, these techniques are not for the home choir project. These are not for self-isolation choir or stay-at-home choir or any of those other online choirs. They want your voice unedited and just unfiltered so they can do what they need to do to shape it with everyone else's. All right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have a little look at these particular 5 aspects. Now, depending on which sequencer or digital audio workstation, which DAW you use, these might have different names. On Logic and GarageBand, which we'll be using today, cycle mode is one of the most exciting things that I think many of you will enjoy. It's known as loop recording in other settings. We're going to look at how to use MIDI files, and this MIDI stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface. There we go, Musical Instrument Digital Interface, MIDI. And this is the computer language of music. And so I'll show you how to find and use MIDI files as guide tracks for you to record. And we'll use something called FlexTime. This is magic, if I'm honest, ladies and gents. And when I first used this, I thought this is absolutely amazing. This is baked in to all these modern systems. The vocal transformer, those of you that enjoy hearing me singing soprano, well, this is how I manage this. And those of you that are altos and sopranos that fancy singing bass, well, listen carefully to that bit. And then finally, the space designer, how you create the sound of a cathedral, Patchway Cathedral, for example. All right, so first of all, ladies and gents, what we're going to do is I'm going to switch across to my other screen, and here is the wonderful GarageBand, whatever you want to call it. This comes free with the Mac, and if you own an Apple Mac or an iPad, you can download this for free, okay? It's available through the App Store if you Google GarageBand on a Mac or on an iPad, and it does technically work on the phone, though it's far too fiddly. I find it's not really usable. You can get at this for free. All right, and it is a very, very powerful piece of software. Really, really useful. So the first thing I'm going to do, folks, is I'm going to demonstrate how you might want to start just recording yourself on a very basic level. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is to have an audio track. You need to have your microphone. We spoke about this last week. I'm going to use that little Rode microphone that I showed you last week. And if I just tap it, you can hear that. You can also see things are lighting up. Now, if you can't hear that, I'm tapping it. You need to make sure that this button here, which is what's called the monitor, okay, so you're monitoring what's played back so you can hear it, all right? And now if I just press record, there'll be a little click, and I'm going to leave the metronome on. Some people turn it off. This is a mistake because the very best musicians in the world will I think find it difficult to play absolutely metronomically. And so I'm just going to put this on and just check this is working. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, I can just listen back to that, check it's working. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, so it's working. Now, what I'm going to do is very, very quickly, I'm going to show you a little trick. I'm just going to play in a simple little four bar pattern here on the piano to give myself a bit of support. Now, you can do this yourself if you're happy on the keyboard, as many of you are. You can use a file that you drag in, an MP3, maybe a recording that you like. You can even sing something in or play on a guitar, whatever you want to do, but I'm going to give myself a little bit of a harmonic foundation. So I'm going to play, it's going to give me 4 clicks, and then I'm going to play in. Fantastic. So there we go. That's just a little 4-bar pattern. If I listen back to it, turn up a bit. Okay, so there we go. That's my little 4-bar pattern. I'm going to add another track. Now I do that by clicking the plus here. And I'm going to make that an audio track. And I can now just record along with that. So I've got this track here with the piano on the top, and I've got my voice here. I'm going to press record. It'll click 4 times to give me a count in, and then I'm going to sing. So I'm just going to sing along with the bass line. Here we go. Do 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 do. Okay, and I'm just going to make that 4 bars. You'll see why in a minute. And I can just go on down and I can record that as many times as I like. This is multi-tracking. These are tracks. There's more than one of them. This is multi-tracking. So let's do, I might just do that bass line again, just so I have a choice. Here we go. Do, 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 do. Okay, good. Now, Judy's just asked a good question. Is my keyboard plugged straight in, or is the microphone picking it up? At the moment, because I'm streaming, I'm using the microphone to pick up the output of the keyboard. Basically, the keyboard's playing out of the speakers and the microphone's detecting that. Most of the time, I've got that plugged straight in, but that requires a different setup, which wouldn't allow me to stream. To be honest, though, I'm using this as a guide, so it really doesn't matter. It could be anything. This is why I said last week, if you want to sing along with a choral performance and you can't get hold of the MP3, a sneaky way to do it is just to hold your phone up to the speaker of your computer and just record it from there. It doesn't matter if it's in terrible quality, because you're going to overwrite that. You're going to sing along with it and then take that track out at the end. Okay, sneaky stuff. Now let's have a little listen to that, and let's take the piano part out and just listen to the bass. Okay, so I've got a couple of takes there, and I can choose which one I like, but let me show you something which is just extraordinarily cool. And I've been using this software for 20 years plus now. Since it came out, I think it's absolutely fantastic. I thought I knew everything about it, but there was one button up here, this one, which is called Cycle. And I didn't really understand what it was for, and I got to go to one of the Apple Store Genius Spa sessions, and I was being all arrogant. Oh, I know this, I know that. I said, actually, what does this button do? And the guy showed me, and it blew my mind. Okay, now notice, as I click cycle here, these 4 bars light up yellow. And what this means is, as I press record, it's going to start recording. And when it gets to the end, it's going to go back to the beginning and keep recording. Okay, and each time it goes back, it's going to save what I did earlier on, and then give me the option at the end to choose from all the multiple takes. So it means you can do something like this. Okay, here we go. Do 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 Now, I can see I've got 5 takes, not sure about the last one, but what I can do is I can now listen back to take 4. Okay, and what I can now do, if I just copy that track a few times, and bear in mind this is all baked into GarageBand, it works the same on the iPad. I'm now going to copy this down, and I'm just going to use the first 4 tracks. I wasn't sure about the last one, but I can now select take 1, take 2, just by clicking on this little number here in the corner, take 3, and then take the piano out. I'm just going to just pan that slightly, just so it doesn't sound like we'll stand next to each other, and I thought I heard the first mate say, John Kanaka your work tomorrow but not today. John Kanaka All right, so a very, very quick way of creating a choir. Now, if I turn off cycle mode, I can then loop that. So I can grab the corner here and just loop it and loop it and loop it and loop it. And then I've got myself a little 16-bar backing track. And I can then record over the top of that. And I'll do that now. So I can go. I thought I heard the first mate say, John Kanaka and so on. All right. So this is just very, very rough, but you can see actually this is quite a powerful tool. Now, when it comes to using this in your recordings of classical pieces, well, what you might want to do is to consider that if you treat each part as a different cycle. I'll show you how to do this in a minute. You can do multiple takes and then choose the bits of each take that you like. So let's quickly look at the second thing here, which is to use MIDI files. Now, I don't know if anyone has ever encountered MIDI files before. These are literally just teeny tiny files which just consist of numbers and letters. It's not sound. What it is instructions to a computer to create sound. So you feed them into a digital workstation like this, and it will play the instruments through whichever software you've got. But it is a teeny tiny set of instructions. So let's bring back our window here. And what I'm going to do is earlier on, I had a little look on Google, and I'll go to Google now just to show you how easy it is to find these things. And I've got a little magical here. I've put the music in the description for you. It's called Since First I Saw Your Face. It's a lovely little piece that I've sung many times before, and many of you will know it. I'm sure Helene and Bill have sung it in California with their wonderful Arch Street regulars. So now, Since First I Saw Your Face by Thomas Ford. All right, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in Since First I Saw Your Face MIDI. Okay, and you must put MIDI because that's the important bit. And at the top here, it's giving me the option to download a MIDI file. So these are the parts. This is a little bit like Coraline, actually, but it's free. So if I click MIDI, it'll download a little file. Now, if I now drag that, I'm just going to get rid of our earlier efforts, fun as they were. Let's get rid of all that. I'm going to drag this MIDI file in, and you can do this with classical works. You'll be amazed at the range of MIDI files you can get. Oh, how are people doing? Good. I think everyone's saying this is seriously fun, says Charlotte. That's good. Now, look, it's when you drop the MIDI file in, it'll usually ask, do you want to import the tempo information? I always say no at this point, because you can, if you do, it's quite hard to change the tempo that's baked into the MIDI. If you decide it's too fast, it's a real faff to get rid of that all. So I always say no to this. Okay. Now, what it'll do is it'll give that a sound. It doesn't really matter what it sounds like because it's going to be a guide for us. And we can see here, there's an awful lot of junk. We can see these blocks here have got notes on, but these don't. So I'm just going to get rid of these empty files. And sometimes you'll find this, these tracks sometimes aren't useful. So I'm just going to delete them. I'm just using the backspace key, and I'll get rid of this top one here. Okay. Now, if I have a listen, it's given it to 4 oboes, and let's see what this sounds like. Okay, now it's not going to set the world alight. It's certainly not the next #1, but it's quite a nice little guide track. You can hear all 4 parts. Up here, I'm going to slow the tempo down so it's at a speed that human beings can sing, and you can do the one voice louder thing. So I'm going to have my cantus, which is my soprano part. And I can see it says cantus because it's marked there. I don't know if you could see that if I zoom in, but there we go. It says cantus. And so let me just put that in one ear here, and I'll make the others slightly quieter. And I've got my music. You can follow along if you want to. I'm going to record this. Hang on, I didn't go all the way out. There we go. I'm going to record this on this track, and I'm going to use cycle mode. Okay, so I'm going to click this, and I'm going to do it to halfway, 8 bars or so. All right, so from the beginning, here we go. And oh, by the way, this starts on an upbeat. And I should have moved this and lined it up. It's going to start after 4, which is a little bit unexpected, but just for a demo purpose. Here we go. Right. Since first I saw your face, I resolved to honor and renown ye. If now I be disdained, I wish my heart had never known ye. Since first I saw your face, to honor and renown ye. If now I be disdained, heart had never known ye. Face I resolve to honor, disdained I wish my heart had never known ye. Okay, so I did 3 different takes there. And what I can do very quickly is just to copy those down and do the same I did earlier on, and just see very quickly at a glance. I've got take 1, I've got take 2, and I've got take 3, all recorded very quickly. If I play them all together, bearing in mind I haven't done any treatment on this at all.
Since first I saw your face, I resolved to honour and renown ye. If now I be disdained, I wish my heart.
Now you notice I left all sorts of gaps. Doesn't really show. And the more voices you add, everyone, well, the less it shows. This is why these big multi-voice choral performances like our Justice and Judgment had 60-something people in it, and Self-Isolation Choir has hundreds and hundreds. Really doesn't matter if you miss out a word or 2 or 10, because it will all cover. Now, if you want to create your own version of this, this is where things get really very cool indeed. Because I know I deliberately recorded takes 2 and 3 with gaps that sort of complemented each other. Now, you can do this and look at it sort of one track on top of the other, or you can do this, which I really like. So I'm just going to zoom in slightly on this. I'm just going to use take 3 here. Now, I can see, just visually, bear with me a moment, that's the wrong one. There we are. So I can see visually down here, I've got a gap at the start, and then I've got some singing, and then I've got another gap. So if I put my playhead here at the start of the gap, and I just now cut that using the split tool, which you'll find here in the menu, and I'll do the same again at the end. Okay, I'm just going to put a split down the middle of that, and again at the start of the next block. Notice, if you can see, each of these is now selectable, so I can now say I want take 2 up until that point, and then take 3, and then take 2. Yeah, and now let's listen to the whole. This is all on one track.
Since first I saw your face, I resolved to honour and renown ye. If now I be disdained.
And these are switching between multiple tracks, folks. And I haven't had to do anything particularly clever other than know how to split the track and then select one of the others. And you can do as many takes as you like with this. I've done 20 takes. Some of the Messiah tracks, I literally did cycle mode on the same bar again and again and again and again until I got it as close to perfect as I could. And then that was the take I used. So I appreciate this is really high level perfectionist stuff. But it's so useful. It's so powerful. Now, what we can do with that, of course, is to record the whole thing. I've got this first line. What I'll do next is I think I'll record... actually, no, what I'll do is I will take this first take, this one we've got here, because I've sung it as a bass, but it's written for a soprano. So those of you who are interested in multi-tracking in particular, let me show you the next really exciting bit. Where has this been all my life? Sitting on your Mac, Julie. Yeah, this is the thing. You don't know what's possible until someone shows you. So if this, honestly, folks, if you're inspired by this, have a play around. All right, just need to see somebody using it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn this into a soprano. All right. Now, there are a couple of quid pro quos I need to warn you about with this. But first of all, let's go here. We want vocal transformer, everyone. Now, you will hear my voice. La, 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 la. Now, if I now play with the pitch, I want it up an octave. La, 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 la. I can do 2 octaves. I can go down an octave. All right. Now, hang on. Don't change the formant. Don't change the formant because that changes the entire quality of the voice. But those of you who are sopranos who want to sing bass, this is how you do it. So first of all, I'm going to put this up 12 and let's have a listen to it.
Since first I saw your face, I resolved to honour and renown ye.
There we are. All right, so that's how I've been recording all these soprano parts. Now, you see, it's not perfect. There's always some artifacts, and there's always a slight rough edge to it. It actually works better when you go down the octave. So those of you who are singing alto and so on and want to sing bass, if you record in as an alto, it actually sounds better. Let's just do that. Let's record an alto part in. I'm just going to turn the vocal transformer off while I do that. There we go. So let's record this in as an alto. Haven't done the alto singing today. Here we go. Since first I saw your face, I resolved to honor and renown ye. All right, just that little demo there. And now if I turn the vocal transformer back on, I want minus 12, because there are 12 tones in an octave, if you remember from your deep dives. And now let's have a listen.
Since first I saw your face, I resolved to honor and renown ye.
Now, of course, that does sound a little bit like Johnny Five from Short Circuits having a bit of a sing. So what you would do is you play around with it and work your voice in a way that sounds good when you sing it down the octave. I've had to learn that if I sing an E sound in the way I normally would as a tenor or bass, when the vocal transformer takes it up, it sounds like Miss Piggy. And so I've had to change the shape of my mouth in order for this to work. But I find it's actually really, really useful. I've just seen Kit Kat's comment. We thought he was having to cross his legs. No. No, is people getting upset? No, please don't get upset about any of this. I do hope that you don't get put off by this. This is the kind of thing that is taken, a lot of play and a lot of work on my part, but it is fun. And I would urge you to have a bit of a play around with the technology. If you have an Apple Mac, if you have an iPad, if you have a PC with anything like this, try it out. Yeah, no harm will come if you record your voice on multiple levels, and you might find you really enjoy it. Okay, so just a couple more minutes, folks, because I see I'm running short on time. Now, what I want to do is show you this thing called flex time. And this is, again, for those of you that like recording and you want to get your voice absolutely perfectly in time, this is fabulous. No, we're going to get rid of you. So I'm just going to record myself, and I'm just going to sing. I'm going to sing the alphabet. I wonder if I can cope with that. Let's see. Okay, after 4. A, B, C, D, E. Actually, I want to click whilst I'm doing it, so we can indicate we're on the beat. Okay, here we go. One more time. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. Not my finest hour in terms of accuracy. A couple of those notes were not in the right place. So now I'm going to show you what we do about that if we have software like this. So this is a modern digital audio workstation. This technology has been available in GarageBand now for about 10 years. So this is what you do. Down here in the bottom, we can see the sound waves, and I can zoom in a little bit, and even though it might not be immediately obvious, if you really look at it, you can start to see the individual letters, can't you? You can see that the peaks rise at the start of the sound, and then when there's no sound, it is just a sort of flat line. And so we can see here A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on. And we can see that it all was not well in the state of Denmark here. At a couple of times I went slightly off-piste. So let's have a listen to that and see if we can work out exactly where that was. Here we go.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L,
Okay,
M.
JK wasn't good. And in fact, it took a little bit of time to get back in time. If you look carefully here, folks, you can see some vertical lines indicating where the beats are. And you can see actually here, these last 3 are nowhere near. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push these now into time. So here is the trick. What you do is you make a cut at the end of the start and the end of the section that's out. And this is important because if you don't, it drags everything else, even the stuff that's in time, out of time. So I'm just going to put a cut in here. So split it, and I'm going to split it at the start of it as well. So I just want this bar here. Bear with me a moment. Make sure I clicked on it. There we go. So I've now just split, and you can see this bit is now lit up because this is the bit I'm going to edit. Now over here, there's this little button which if you hover it says show hide flex, or if you use the command F for flex instruction, it'll do that. And it's just analyzed it. And what it's given me now is these, you can see the mouse pointer's now changed to these 3 lines. And so I'm just going to check which one it is.
IJKL.
Okay, A, J, K was rubbish. So let's put K in time. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to drag this over here. Okay, let's listen to it. If it's not good, we can always undo it. Right, K is now in time. J, I'm going to move this. I'm just clicking and dragging and just putting it roughly in time, and then listen to it. The best way of checking is just to listen back.
HIJKL.
Okay, there's a little bit of an artifact on I, so I'd want to spend a little bit longer just getting that in time. But you see, it is just a matter of...
HIJKLM.
Yeah, and if I had the time, you can even squash them right down so you can make them even faster.
HJKL.
Okay, and if you make a mistake, you can just undo with a click of a key and you're back. Now this has huge potential when you're trying to get everything absolutely beautifully lined up. If you want to get all your T's together at the end of a long phrase, if you come in slightly early, you can just nudge it back into time. It's immensely useful. Julie's going, what? Dorothy's asking, is this the sledgehammer? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the sledgehammer. Indeed, it is. So those of you, if you send in a recording and you think, oh, that entry was a little bit early or that's a little bit late, I will just bring it up here and just nudge it into place. And you might think, oh, well, is this still our voice? Well, remember, and this is very important. I'm just going to go back to my presentation here. Remember, if we were all in the same room, we were all singing together, if you sang the wrong note, if you came in too early or too late in rehearsal, I'd give you one of those, and you go, oh, sorry, and you'd mark it in. We don't get to do that. You don't get that feedback. The other person, of course, who's going to tell you you're wrong is your kind neighbour who just goes, not there. Okay, and so what I'm doing here is giving you all that exact same attention that I would normally do in a rehearsal without that problem of having to do it in front of everybody, which is always so awful, isn't it? When the conductor looked straight at you and said, no, it was you were out, and you go, oh, sorry, and you wish the ground would open up and swallow you whole. So what I would say is, don't ever worry about me doing this or any sound engineers. What we're doing is we're polishing the performance in order to give it the best shine that we can, but it is always all you. So let me just very quickly, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about, which I don't think I have a huge amount of time to do, which is the space designer. I think I'll leave that actually for now, because that doesn't really add to the add much to it in terms of the recording. What that is creating the space. You can do that very roughly by just playing with reverb, but I think that will do for today, folks. We've covered cycle mode, which remember is up here. If I just bring my my GarageBand thing back here, cycle mode is this button here. Now on other workstations, this is known as loop recording. Have a look for it. We've had a look about using MIDI files. These are really, really useful. All the classical works you can think of, you can find as MIDI files. I found some Mozart Requiem ones, Beethoven 9. I mean, the Ode to Cheese, our lovely accompaniment there, was a MIDI file that I downloaded, tweaked, added some instruments, and there I had a full orchestra. Flex Time, you've seen there, really powerful for just nudging those notes into place. And the vocal transformer, if you want to sound like a soprano or sound like a bass, that's how you use it. All right, everyone. So I do hope this has been interesting. Now, for those of you for whom this has just gone completely over your head, please don't feel in any way bad about that. This is the kind of thing that, as I say, I think it's useful to know what people are doing, even if it's the same reason why I'm fascinated by watching these videos of people. So you can just turn that off. Of people restoring old equipment, and I'll never do it myself, but I love watching somebody having a go at something and think, okay, so it's possible. And it's the same here when you look at people like myself and Connor working on these songs and so on. You go, okay, I feel quite reassured because there's quite a lot of technical know-how. They don't just all throw it into a bowl and then it's done. But for those of you who like playing with tech, have a go with stuff like this. All right, I'll do a session on Pro Tools in the next few weeks for those of you who want to have a look at it, because that's PC and Mac as well. But for everyone else, I would really thoroughly recommend Sing and Send. All right, so what you'll do is you'll send me the Cantique de Racine. We'll record it next week in our Wednesday slot. You'll then send it to me. and then I will use this technology to create a virtual performance. And as you can see, it's immensely powerful. You don't need to worry if you miss out a word. If there's a bit of background noise, we can get rid of it. If you're coming slightly late, we can sort that out. You know, the most important thing is that you have fun, you enjoy yourself, and the more voices we get, the better the overall sound is, because it becomes like a warm blanket, and none of the little imperfections, I suppose is the best word for it, none of them will show at all. All right, everyone. So I do hope you've enjoyed this today. I'm Lisa said, I find it very reassuring that someone can fix my errors. Well, that's my job. You know, as a conductor, it's to teach you the music to the point that you feel powerful. And I hope today has helped you feel powerful, because really these tiny little discrepancies, these tiny little errors really do not matter. Okay, and so you can sing and send with confidence that what will come out at the end will sound fantastic and will sound like our choir. All right, everyone. So well done today. I hope you've enjoyed it. A few people look a little bit worn out, but I'm sure if you watch it back, it might make a bit more sense. And otherwise, really enjoy your day, everyone. If you're in self-isolation choir, I'll see you later on for Messiah. Otherwise, we're back on Friday for a fantastic fun Friday. We're going to learn a song called Watcher, which is one of my favourite Cockney music hall songs. And yeah, do enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Take care. All the very best. Bye-bye.